Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm back with a brand new speed build, this time doing something a little bit different. So I actually had a build request the other week to do a set of twin houses, and this is actually something that I've been wanting to do for some time. It's kind of on my build list of things to do. So the other day I decided to get stuck in and get started. Now I have actually done twin houses before, but the last ones that I did was a very long time ago, and it was a collaboration with my good friend Sim Architecture, where together we built kind of opposite houses. And this time I kind of wanted to do something which was sort of similar but not quite. So on the right hand side I decided to build a more feminine girly style home, and on the left hand side is a little bit more of a masculine home. So they're both fairly similar in the sense of they're identical houses, identical layouts, and there's quite a bit about them that is identical, but with regards to the styling of the house, the colours, the furniture that was used, the complete style of the inside of the house, they are completely different. So this build actually took me next to no time to do at all, and I think it's because it was a build that I've wanted to do for quite some time, and I kind of had quite a clear vision about what it was that I wanted to do. But this build didn't go without its glitches. So I'll tell you about that a little bit later on, but for the moment, the house on the right hand side, which is the first house that I work on, was kind of a bit more of a feminine style home. I imagined as I was building it that this was possibly for some sort of florist, maybe someone that was quite girly and loved lots of flowers and pretty things. Now the inside isn't completely girly, there's not loads of pinks in there, it's just very kind of light and bright and feminine. But the house on the left hand side is opposite in the sense that it's more masculine, and I imagined maybe a businessman living here or a police detective or something like that, and the styles for the insides of the houses are completely different. Now when I say that this build took me next to no time to kind of finish, it didn't really. It took me 2 sittings in fact, and I started this build yesterday daytime, and then I sat down for 2.5 hours last night and finished all of the outside of the house as well as all of the interior. Well, that's what I thought anyway. Until I came to edit. And when I came to edit, I came to place both the files into my editing software just to find that the one on the right was actually corrupt. So I'd lost the entire night's footage. Oh, I was so fuming. I was just like, you know what? I managed to recover an earlier save, which meant that I could basically redo the whole house from where I'd started off last night. But still, I'd lost 2.5 hours and I was really gutted and so frustrated about it. But there was literally nothing that I could do. So I decided to just kind of switch it off in the end last night. I thought I'm not going to sit here and just duplicate everything I've just done tonight. So I left it and pretty much went to bed. So I decided to finish this off tonight, and I did a little bit today as well, and just kind of redid it all. But I would say that it was a lot quicker redoing it the second time round, but I did actually do a lot of things different as well. But I'm really happy with the way that it turned out, and like I say, I was really enthusiastic, had a lot of ideas that I wanted to place into this build, and I found it quite easy to sort of put it all together. So what I decided to do was concentrate on the actual structures of the builds first, and then I went on to do all of the landscaping to the red house on the right, and then finished all the landscaping to the blue house on the left before moving on and finishing the interiors in the same sort of order. So a lot of the pathing and things like that is laid out exactly the same. Some of the flowers are fairly similar as well, but what I actually placed in furniture wise was quite different. So I tried to keep this as realistic as possible. i.e., if this was in your neighbourhood and you had two houses identical, there are going to be a lot of things that are similar about them both, but the way that they're styled, the gardens and everything are pretty much going to be different. So I've never actually played twin houses myself in The Sims 4, but I can imagine that the concept is quite nice, really, and I suppose it sort of gives you a little bit of a taster of an open world, without sort of having to cut through different screens. So I should imagine that it'd be quite nice if you had a family or maybe even colleagues or friends that were literally living next door, and maybe you could play out some form of let's play, on the same lot. I'm not entirely sure how it would work, but I do like the concept and I had a lot of fun creating these two houses. So both these houses have identical layouts, and they are 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, and the whole entire lot is set on a 40 by 30 lot in Willow Creek, and everything all together comes in at just less than 222,000 simoleons. So I didn't actually do this build to a budget, and I didn't use restricted packs either. I just wanted to kind of like get stuck in the deep end and just see what I could come up with. So in each of the houses on the outside, I did go ahead and add in some activities and skill building items, but I did sort of mix it up a little bit because, like I say, there was kind of different themes for both houses. But in both of the houses we had planters as well as beekeeping boxes and a barbecue area. And in the right hand house, which is the red house, I think there was like a florist table, and in the left house was a telescope. So I hope you've all had a fantastic week and you enjoyed Halloween. You'll have to let me know if you got up to anything exciting. We all went trick-or-treating, which was quite fun, although it was a little bit rushed because it was threatening to rain the entire time that we were out, and it partially started raining a couple of times. So we were really trying to get around and do as much kind of trick-or-treating as we could before we had to head home. But the kids came back with tubs full of sweets and they had a great time, so it was really quite fun. I must admit though, over here in the UK, it's nothing like what it is in the likes of America, because a lot of the people over here are just miserable. They just literally turn the lights off and don't answer the door. So we literally only head for houses which have sort of pumpkins outside or decorations, and there's not many people really. It's not a massive holiday over here, so there isn't really that many people that sort of, get into the spirit of it. But luckily where I live, there is a road near to us where the residents really go all out decorating the houses, and they're all stood outside, and it's just really a really good atmosphere. So yeah, it was pretty good in the end. Now with regards to myself, I've been trying really hard, as some of you will know on Twitter, to try and get through The Haunting of Hill House, which is a Netflix series at the moment, and I am probably the world's biggest wimp. I just really struggle to watch anything scary. I am just so bad. I can do sort of like gory things, but I can't do anything that's kind of paranormal because I just get like really spooked and it really plays on my mind. And the funny thing is my dad's exactly the same. He's a bit of a wimp as well, and I don't know if it's kind of that's where I get it from, but yeah, I really infuriate my husband because whenever we watch something scary, whenever there's something, that's about to happen, I always kind of turn away and watch his face and then ask him what's happening. And he's like, if you want to know, just watch it. I think the thing that I find infuriating about it the most is jump scares, because I feel like in me, it sort of triggers the fight or flight response, and it makes me want to fight. It just really stresses me out and I just get really infuriated with it. It's just ridiculous, but I do get really frustrated with myself because there's so many things that I'd love to watch, but I just don't have the capability. And the funny thing was my best friend, she's really quite hardy. Like, she can sit and watch stuff and it just completely doesn't faze her. And as soon as this kind of Netflix series came out, she messaged me and she was like, Kim, and it was like in capitals, and she was like, Kim, do not watch this without a pillow. And I knew it was going to be bad. But I did manage in a way to try and get through it. So I sort of watched it and I did get all the way to the end, but I won't give out any spoilers, but for those of you who are old enough to watch it, you know, you'll have to let me know what you think about it without giving too much away. But yeah, that was quite a giggle. Which it wasn't at all, but I know what I mean. So just coming back to the build, I'm just working on the interior now of the red house, which is the one that's a little bit more feminine. And as you can see, there's nothing really girly about it. It's just kind of quite nice and light and neutral. I'd say it was fairly modern, really, without it having lots of modern furniture in it. It's just kind of like a really nice, bright home. And I quite like the way it looks, you know, and they're probably tones that I would use in my real life house as well. So with regards to the bedrooms, there is 2 bedrooms in each of the houses, and I kind of created a master bedroom, and the second room in both houses was like a single guest room. It was sort of, you know, a guest bedroom, and I think I put a PC in both of them as well. So what you wanted to do with it, whether you wanted to change them into children's rooms or keep them as guest rooms, it's entirely up to you. But they weren't really customized as being specific bedrooms for specific Sims. So I do think that both the houses are actually really good sizes, especially downstairs, with having kind of like a separate kitchen and dining area and the main living area being fairly big. And also they do come with 2 bathrooms, but upstairs is a lot smaller. So I'd probably say it'd be a really good kind of starter home or starter family home. You could certainly have kind of like 1 child, or, you know, a couple and 1 child in one of the houses. But it's entirely up to you what you wanted to do. But I'm just moving on to the second house, and as you can see, the colours are completely different. It's probably a little bit stereotypical, really, in the sense that I think every time I come to do some sort of masculine build, I always end up using lots of blues and greys, and I always tend to gravitate towards modern furniture as well. I don't know why that is, but I just kind of feel like it just feels a lot more masculine. But I actually really like the way that this kitchen turned out, and again, when it comes to sort of doing masculine houses or houses with themes, it sort of forces you to kind of use tones and colours that you wouldn't ordinarily use. So I actually really enjoyed doing this particular house. Both of them I really like for completely different reasons, and I just enjoyed doing both of the themes. So I didn't really have a favourite, if I'm honest. So the layouts are really similar. Obviously the kitchens are in the identical place, the same as the dining rooms, the bedrooms, everything's the same. It's just literally the furniture and the way that it's designed is completely different. So I'm just moving on to the main reception room now, and initially I was going to do it the colour red, and then I decided to switch it up and go for quite a nice light grey, and I'm glad that I did actually, because I never really use grey in the main living areas, and I did go to use this wallpaper, which I'm really thankful I changed up. I didn't really particularly like it, so I felt if anything it was probably more suited to be a kind of bedroom colour. So I did go ahead and add this desk area in, as well as the computer and the chair, and I kind of imagined that there was a policeman or a businessman living here, and I sort of kitted it out with that in mind. So I just wanted to say a massive thank you to those that have submitted builds to the gallery for the renovation series. There are actually some really beautiful houses on there that quite frankly don't need renovating, but I'll be sure to give them a go anyway. So thank you very much, and if you do want to take part, I will be renovating your houses, either houses that you've built that are quite run down you want me to do up, or houses that you've simply built and you just want me to kind of put a little twist on it. So if you want to do that, the hashtag to upload those builds will be simkim but I'll leave it in the description box below, and if you want to take part, then yeah, feel free to submit a build. So actually I did include the bathroom in the second house, and For a really, really long time, when The Sims 4 was just the base game, this particular sink was my go-to sink. I loved it so, so much. And it's funny how as each pack releases, you kind of gain new favourites. But it was kind of a bit of nostalgia using that sink because I've not used it in such a long time. And it sort of reminds me of the very first builds that I used to build. So I'm just finishing off the master bedroom, and I'd say the biggest problem I had with this room was actually finding curtains to fit the windows. And in the end, I just decided to go for these blinds which just fit every single style of window. But I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give me a big thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed, it would be amazing to have you on board. But you'll have to let me know in the comments section as well which house you preferred and why. But I hope you all have a fantastic weekend, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care, bye.